Hi guys, welcome back to the Tegiwa YouTube channel. Today we are doing the ultimate intake test for the Civic FL5. As you can see, we've got our FL5 behind us. It's fresh from a service. We've got 8 different intakes that we're going to be testing today. We're joined by Matt Howard, aka Not Even That Fast. Would you like to introduce yourself, Matt?
Yeah, you might have seen some of the other tests we've done on my old GR Yaris. We did a similar test. We've got even more intakes this time. Yeah, so I think we're ready to go. Yeah,
it's going to be quite interesting because we've got a few different variants. We've got open cones, we've got enclosed cones, and I've even got one I've put down as semi-enclosed. So I don't know if that's a thing, I might have made that up. We're going to start with the OEM intake. So that'll be our benchmark for today. Then we're going to drop in the K&N panel filter, because why not? Just to see if it just does make a difference or what that does. So prices start from £65 all the way up to £1,757. So there should be something in here for
everybody. Yeah. Some of the ones you've got to pay to play, haven't you?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how more budget options compare with the really expensive ones. But yeah, a little bit about the Civic. It's a completely stock car. The only modification that it does have on is a Miltech non-resonated system, and it's a full turbo back exhaust. Yeah, this is kind of a test. It's not got all the bells and whistles on. Pretty much you can buy the car from the showroom and then choose your intake.
I think the chances are if you fit in one of these, you'll have probably done something similar as well. So hopefully it's relevant to a lot of owners.
Yeah, and the other thing to mention, which we mentioned in the GR Yaris test, is it's not all about figures either.
No, I mean, this is how they're performing on the day. On the dyno, real world, with different intake flows and, you know, whatever else, it might be different. All we can do is compare it on what we have here, share all the figures with you.
I think we're probably the only company doing this. They're super popular. You guys love to see them. And like Matt says, it's not all about the figures. So you might be buying it for the noise. You might be buying it for the aesthetic under the bonnet, because you might like popping your hood and seeing a fancy carbon intake.
Yeah.
There's a number of factors. But yeah, we're going to start now with the OEM run, and then we'll start unboxing the intakes and taking a look at what's inside. So the car's now strapped to the dyno. We've got the stock box on, going to give it 3 runs, and this is basically our benchmark for the day. We're going to do all the runs with the bonnets down, because that's what it'll be like on the road. So yeah, let's crack on with it. Excited to get it underway. So we just finished benchmarking the stock airbox. As we mentioned, the only modification on the car is a Miltech non-resonated system, so that's why the power is slightly higher than the factory quote of 327 horsepower. So it did in fact make 334.1 horsepower, so really healthy.
Right, so the next airbox we're testing is the Infinity design. This is not quite full production, it's like production intent. They've done all the testing, done all the development, happy with the design. There's a few little things they're going to still tweak, but in terms of how it's going to perform, this is how it's going to be. So we've got quite a big jump in price from the last one, haven't we?
Yeah, so provisionally, it's obviously not quite on the market yet, but it's £1,450. We've breached the £1,000 mark and then jumped up like another intake, basically. We're almost triple, actually, from the PRL one.
Yeah, and if you want to spend a bit more, they also do a intake pipe that goes directly to the turbo inlet. That's another, provisionally, £550.
Yeah, we're not actually testing that today. We might have one in the box, not sure.
That's it. It's sealed up, we don't know.
Do one as well, don't we? But yeah, this is kind of like, this is an intake out of the box. If you want to spend more, you can spend more. But
that's right.
Do you want to do the honours, Matt?
Yeah, let's get it open.
It's a massive box.
It certainly is.
Out of like...
I've seen some boxes in my time.
Ooh.
I've got a certificate with this one.
This is nice. We've got a pack of stickers. They're like 3D gel.
Yeah. A couple of certificates for your wall.
What's in those? Let's have a look at those. They're really nicely done. A certificate of authenticity. So that's pretty good if you're selling it second hand or something. That's interesting. I've never ever seen packaging like that.
Yeah, this is it. So again, this is sort of production intent. The box they actually come in might be different. The packaging they come in might be different. But this is something.
Reusable as well, which is what we like.
Yeah, it's nice.
Because in the GR Yaris one, I can't remember which intake it was, but there was a hell of a lot of packaging, plastic used and stuff. We want to save the dolphins.
Decent.
That is nice. It's literally ready to go.
Yeah.
What are you thinking then, Matt?
Yeah, it's a big airbox. It looks like it's pretty much, everything's almost ready to drop straight in. We've just got to swap the MAF over and do the, not sure if that's the blow off into there or what, but from the standard one. But yeah, it's big, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah, so we don't have, you know, in terms of like everything that it's going to come with, it's not fully as it would be. So we have got some installation instructions from them, just loose ones. Obviously, there will be some really nice ones when they finally ship out proper full production. If there's any fitment issues, we're not really going to worry about that because they've already said that there might well be, and they're just going to tweak the design a little bit in terms of fitment.
We're just going to open the kit up and have a look at the filter, but I'm just having a look around it, and like these plaques are really nice because it's a bit of exclusivity when you're spending this much money. So it's got your car, the Infinity logo, and the serial number as well. We were right inside the packaging. We're obviously not testing it today, but this is the turbo inlet tube. Again, really nice finish of the carbon. Another plaque on there with a serial number. That will provisionally set you back another £550 on top of the kit. But we're not testing that, so we'll just put that down here. Even this bracket's nice. It's got the Infinity logo in it. That's an interesting cone.
We have this interesting sort of double cone design on the filter just to save a bit of space. Still get just good surface area to get that air through. And then yeah, we've got this sort of trumpet and yeah, trombone end. That's going to go from the air filter directly to turbo inlet pipe on the car. So all really nice smooth bends inside that after the filter, so that's really good to see.
Infinity have made a claim as well on their website. They reckon it's going to be an increase of 14 to 20 horsepower and 20 foot-pound of torque, which is the same as what Pipercross said that they'd increase the torque by that much. So yeah, let's see if it lives up to that, but it's a really nice kit, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just get it on the car and get on the dyno.
Nice to be in orbit.
Right, so we just fitted the Infinity Design intake. It's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks great in the bay. It certainly looks like it makes the most of the space. Fitment-wise, going back to what we said when we unboxed it, it is a prototype, so, pre-production, sort of production intent design, so it's almost there. I think they just want to make a few more tweaks. One of them is just going to be down this corner, where we've just, as we've had it in and out, we have scratched it a little bit. They did say we're going to do that, and they're going to fix it already, so that's no big deal. But in terms of everything else, this is super tight to get on, but it's nice and snug once it's on. It does fit. It's just been a bit of a battle for my thumbs to get that on there. So this is the first one that replaces all of the OEM Honda pipework. So we have the MAF now further down than it would be, because if you remember when we tested the OEM, it is straight after the air filter. What we ideally want for a good MAF reading is a good straight bit before and after. It looks like whatever intake we fit, we can't really get that no matter what we do when it comes to this packaging problem that we have here. But it's just going to be interesting to see how much of the gain is down to moving the MAF there, if at all. So let's see what it makes.
Okay, so we've just finished dynoing the Infinity Design, and kind of a shock result really. 337.2 horsepower, so It's not the results we were expecting, only 3 horsepower more than standard. However, it has made the most torque, so 354 pound-foot of torque. The thing is, when you're out on the road, how much time are you going to spend at the top of the rev range? Not that much. You're likely to feel the extra torque, aren't you, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sort of when it comes to like actual real-world fast cars, this is where you spend most of your time. So if you've got a bit more shove down at the bottom, you'll really feel the benefit of that on the road. Also, there's a couple of factors with this intake, isn't there? It's a sort of a not quite production intake, as we keep saying.
Yeah, it kind of is what it is. Take it with a pinch of salt. It's obviously a dyno, and it's all about how it performs in the real world. But
yeah,
you know, you can't argue with the fact that it fits brilliantly. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it obviously sounds good as well.
Yeah, it's a real quality piece of kit for sure. Guys, it's day 2 of the intake test. Although I am still wearing the same clothes, so is Dave, just for continuity, but it is another day. After we'd gone through everything, you know, Infinity Design were nice enough to send us one of their pre-production units. They asked us to give them a bit of feedback, so we did. We let them know how it got on, and they were pretty sure something wasn't right. So we sent it back to them, and one of the things they found, or probably one of the key things they found, is that the MAF hole was not quite the right size, and it was letting in a bit too much air.
So the O-ring that seals the MAF wasn't the right size, so there was like a leak. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was skewing the MAF figures, wasn't it?
So the MAF is mass airflow sensor. It is super important that gets an accurate reading, because that's where you get all your air-fuel ratios, everything like that from. And if you get it wrong, it can be curtains for your engine. So they've given us the sensors it back. We've fitted it, we've retested it.
Also got the correct joiner as well this time.
Yes, that's right.
They didn't quite have that.
The same. It was the right size, but they had to give us a 3D printed part just because it was so early in production. They hadn't got the right bits through.
We noticed last time as well the holes on top of the intake, but this is actually for the OEM like rubber trim, and that didn't get fitted last time. I don't think it would make a massive difference, but
it didn't get fitted to a lot of the airboxes, to be honest, because again, we didn't really think it would make a big difference. As I said at the start, we were literally hot swapping these, you know, getting one on, doing 3 runs and swapping them out, so the intakes were probably on for less than 30 minutes.
I think it did end up on it went on the Gruppen and it went on the...
We did, mainly because we spent about 2 hours putting that thing together. So we've popped that on as well, just to be sure. Right, so that is the graph for the Infinity Design from today, with actual production intent MAF housing. So yeah, we haven't made much more than the Gruppen there. We've made 347.5 pound of torque. However, peak power, like we've said a few times during this test, it doesn't tell the whole story at all. It's how fast you are.
Because it's making peak power like right up here. So
that's right.
As you're hitting the red line, you're not always going to be sending it to the red line anyway, are you?
How much time do you actually spend there? So what we can do is we can overlay this against the Group M. We can see here the difference here. So this thinner line here is the Group M, the thicker line is the Infinity Design, and what we can see is just a load more torque. So if we go from here, some sort of 3,000 RPM, all the way up to sort of 6,500 RPM, we've got more torque. And if I just turn the cursor on, we can see what that translates to in real world power. So if we move this bar sort of over here, sort of 4,500 RPM-ish, something like that, just something arbitrary, something that, you know, somewhere where you would spend more time than at the red line. We can see that what we've actually got is another 9 horsepower almost, but, you know, 8.5 horsepower there. Oh, sorry, it's over 9 horsepower, about 9.5 horsepower. It's a big difference, and you will feel that on the road for sure. And the reason for it, as I say there, we've got another 11 pounds-feet of torque, and, you know, with Hondas, torque, you know, if you get some more torque, you're onto a winner for sure, because it's not what they specialise at.
The guys at Infinity said that the torque comes from, because their kit, and it's got the biggest like mouth, it's got the like widest scoop, so it's got the most air volume, which is quite interesting, something that I didn't know much about, but obviously
it's always nice when the guys that make these airboxes come in, or we talk to them over email. You know, we did that bit with ITG, with the Yaris as well. It's nice to talk to them and just find out a bit more about what goes into the design, because it, you know, although it is a great looking intake, and a lot of the intakes we've got, you know, especially the carbon ones that we have are all fantastic looking. So much more goes into them, just making them look cool. A lot of thought and a lot of CFD design goes into them.
Yeah, I think making them look nice and the finish is kind of the real final step, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just making sure they work, and, you know, when they're charging this much for an intake, they've got to produce some power. So yeah, it's really good to see the fixtures that they've made have solved the issues that we ran into the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you Infinity for being involved with the test and giving us a quick turnaround as well, because we want to give everyone a fair shot at it. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is a young design. They rushed it out to us when we told them that we were doing this test. So yeah, thanks very much.